the White House Correspondents' Dinner. An annual event where US politicians, journalists, and celebrities come together to celebrate free speech. The event also recognizes the achievements of journalists, and it also raises funds for scholars. Hey, chill. Let me get the whole thing off. Let me do the whole thing, okay? The dinner. Basta, chill out, okay, I'll go quicker this time, okay? Just, okay. I watched every single comedian set at the White House Correspondents' Dinner from 1993 to 2022, and I'm just gonna talk about them. You can play now. You're taking your time now. You're smart. You're funny. You're funny now. Go start the video, you passive-aggressive bitch. First up is Elayne Boosler, and fair warning, not all of these comedians are gonna have cookie-cutter jokes. Like this one.
Bush was so interesting to me. He was against abortion, but for capital punishment. Spoken like a true fisherman. Throw them back, kill them when they're bigger.
I wasn't born that year, but I was still able to enjoy it as she had some timeless jokes in there. 94 was my birth year, and I wasn't the only nonsense spewed out that year.
I want you to imagine a different kind of Washington. A Washington where members of Congress can spend their time solving people's problems. A Washington without revolving doors where lawyers and experts can't trade on their government expertise. Pretty scary, huh?
What a strange imagination. Next was Conan O'Brien. I can't believe he did this joke in front of the president.
I lay nude on the rooftop of the Kremlin and got high with a very young Willie Nelson.
Oh, please, you did not.
It was the right.
And now Franken's second go, he drops his delusions and gives the people of the United States a serious proposal this time.
I have an idea. Now, every proposal for balancing the budget includes cuts for both Medicare and NASA. Now, here are two seemingly unrelated facts. Fact one, 30% of Medicare expenditures are incurred by people in the last year of their lives. Fact two, NASA spends billions a year on astronaut safety.
It's not going where you think it is. Calm down.
Why not shoot the elderly into space?
Okay, I lied. Welcome to politics.
Because I'm not just talking about the budget here, I'm talking about science.
Jon Stewart graced the stage next.
I have heard that if you watch C-SPAN on high-definition TV, it gives the illusion that Vice President Gore is three-dimensional.
Shout out to the days when people said high-definition TV. Ray Romano's set had a comedy club crowd work feel to it.
Are you a parent of a twin? How old are yours? 3-year-old twins? Unbelievable. Boys or girls? Girls, identical? Oh, mine are identical, boys, which is better because you save money on photographs. That's what I like.
In 1999, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, performed, and I'm not sure why they didn't have a comedian that year. This was Jay Leno's first performance on video, and he liked to cut to fun videos during his set, like this one.
I want to thank the Academy for this tremendous honor. This may be the greatest moment of my life. I mean, ever since I was a little boy, I've wanted to be a real actor.
If those walls could talk, am I right? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the guiltiest of them all? No, but they probably did the things. Those jokes were brought to you by my Patreon. I would appreciate it if you signed up to help support this channel. If my Patreon is too much, then hitting that subscribe button will do just fine. Oh no, they got me. I'm sorry. I take the joke back. Following Leno was Darrell Hammond, an impressionist who was also a regular SNL cast member. Here's his Al Gore impression.
He does talk a little bit like other people type. Well, Jim, and my plan is rather than squander the surplus on a risky tax cut for the wealthy.
Drew Carey came along in 2002.
I also had angioplasty last August, same thing Dick Cheney had, angioplasty in the stent, except they left my heart in. Hey, how about that? Excellent. Smithers, who is that energetic young boy running through the halls? That's the president, sir. Send him to me.
During his set, he said, "I can finally complain to the manager." And I think this captures the dynamic well. Whether they intend to or not, the comedian's set feels like a roast of the president and the press on the behalf of the people. A 20-minute window where we can vicariously get out our grievances. In 2003, Ray Charles performed, and again, I don't know why they didn't have a comedian perform. Jay Leno came back.
Al Gore was trying to launch his own cable station. I guess Gore figured if President Bush can have his own cable station, Fox News, then he should be able to have one as well.
You could feel he was a lot more seasoned his second time around. In 2005, Cedrick the Entertainer successfully brought up Lil Jon to George Bush.
It's a rapper named Lil Jon. You heard of Lil Jon? I thought that'd be cool that you just take on Lil Jon. He has a little yell he does every time. So maybe like now when you sign a new bill in the law or something, you just sign it in, you know, George W. Bush. Yeah!
To be honest, I think he was holding back a lot, because I've seen his comedy outside this set, and he's a very different performer.
I've never really been to this part of D.C. I've been here a couple of times, you know, Howard Homecoming, you know. I really didn't know there was that many white folks up here like this. This is quite surprising. I'm glad to be here. I'm enjoying it.
Washington, D.C. isn't that white. It's chocolate city to its core. Right, Stephen?
I'd like to welcome you to Washington, D.C., the chocolate city with a marshmallow center and a graham cracker crust of corruption.
He was his signature irrational Colbert Report self.
Do you know you have more nerve endings in your gut than you have in your head? You can look it up. Now I know some of you are going to say I did look it up, and that's not true. That's because you looked it up in a book. Next time, look it up in your gut. I did. My gut tells me that's how our nervous system works.
Tell us more, Stephen.
And though I am a committed Christian, I believe that everyone has the right to their own religion, be you Hindu, Jewish, or Muslim. I believe there are infinite paths to accepting Jesus Christ as your personal savior.
Gen Z is gonna love this next performer. Rich Little performed once in 1984 and came through again in 2007 with an inquisitive Andy Rooney impression.
You know, if you're scared half to death twice, what would happen to you? If you want to grow seedless watermelons, what the hell do you plant? If the sign makers, people who make signs, if they go on strike, what the hell do they hold up?
Next was Craig Ferguson. Let's see what he had to say.
Here's what I love about Al-Qaeda.
Whoa, buddy, let's go to a different clip.
You know Bill Clinton charges $500,000 to give a speech. $500,000, or he'll talk dirty for free, but $500,000 to give a...
Wanda Sykes was next, and she noticed something interesting.
They've never caught you smoking, but they somehow always catch you with your shirt off. I know you're into this transparency thing, but I don't need to see your nipples.
Speak for yourself, Wanda. I don't mind a little Barack nipple, you know, a little Barriola. Jay Leno's third taped appearance was his best in my opinion, and he has one of my favorite jokes from the dinners.
You know, I have the privilege of meeting President Obama a number of times, and all surprised me to hear critics describe the president as cold and aloof. I have never found him that way. He loves to socialize, healthcare, car companies, things of that nature.
Betty White catches a stray as well.
The first lady of television, Betty White, is here. Where's Betty White? We love Betty White. Hi, sweetheart. Betty has a long history in this town. As you know, her first stage performance here was interrupted by John Wilkes Booth, and that was a sad day, but...
I want to take a second to shout out C-SPAN, the unsung hero of American politics. They serve a vital role in providing unfiltered coverage of congressional hearings, debates, and other political events, but that doesn't mean they aren't gonna get these bars.
For C-SPAN, I would bet tonight that they are almost sure to double their viewer.
Hey, C-SPAN, I just want to do a camera check real quick. Okay, camera one. And that's it. That's all the cameras.
I love C-SPAN. It's like lawmakers in their natural habitat. It's like Wild Kingdom, but with congressmen. And now, a debate on wheat.
We actually had something like C-SPAN where I used to work, only we called it a security camera.
Who doesn't love C-SPAN? Seriously, C-SPAN. It's an entire channel shot with the backup camera on a Ford Explorer.
C-SPAN is, of course, the official network for wide shots of empty chairs.
These last two are my favorite.
No, but it is good to be on C-SPAN. Glad I'm not on your rival network. No input, HDMI 1.
Now, tonight's event is being broadcast on C-SPAN, so to some viewers watching at home on C-SPAN, hello. But to most viewers watching at home on C-SPAN, meow.
Cecily Strong's Meow lives rent-free in my head.
Meow.
Now, back to the only channel that gets less views than C-SPAN. 2011 brought Seth Myers.
Everyone knows how the MSNBC party works. President Obama makes the Kool-Aid, and everyone there drinks it.
During Biden's vice presidency, there were countless jokes towards him during these dinners, but this one is my favorite.
But I assume it must have been hard for the president to tell Biden the new budget cut $1.5 billion from high-speed rail. Joe, come on in. Take off your engineer's cap. I have some bad news about the choo-choos.
That's right. The guy with the duck-ducks likes the choo-choos. Jimmy Kimmel came in 2012. The best part about this next one is Michelle's reaction.
Mr. President, I know you won't be able to laugh at any of my jokes about the Secret Service, so cover your ears if that's physically possible.
You can tell she definitely teases him about this off camera. I also quite enjoyed the structure of this joke.
But honestly, it's a thrill for me to be here with the president, a man who has, I think, done his best to guide us through some very difficult times and paid a heavy price for it. You know, there's a term for guys like President Obama. Probably not 2 terms, but there is.
In 2013, Conan had one of my favorite performances, but I'm also biased. I absolutely love Conan.
The print media are here for 2 very good reasons: food and shelter. Some people say print media is dying, but I don't believe it. And neither does my blacksmith.
And I really love this next joke.
President Obama and John Boehner are kind of like a blind date between Anderson Cooper and Rachel Maddow. In theory, they understand each other's positions, but deep down, you know nothing's ever gonna happen.
Joel McHale took the stage in 2014.
It's crazy to think that Joe Biden is only 1 heartbeat away from no one taking him seriously as president. CNN is like the Radio Shack in a sad strip mall. You don't know how it stayed in business this long, you don't know anyone that shops there, and they just fired Piers Morgan.
In 2015, Cecily Strong came with one of my favorite sets.
Since I'm only a comedian, I'm not going to try to tell you politicians how to do politics or whatever. That's not my job. That'd be like you guys telling me what to do with my body. I mean, can you even imagine? Crazy. No.
Like I said before, that meow
Meow
has real estate in my head.
This next part is a repeat after me, so I need your help here. I want all the media to put their hands up and swear something this election season, okay? I solemnly swear not to talk about Hillary's appearance, because that is not journalism.
Don't be so silly, Cecily. A woman's outfit definitely affects how she governs. We need to understand the platforms she walks in before we understand the platform she's running on. This was true in '93.
Elayne, maybe you can answer me this. Hillary Clinton wore a headband at the beginning of the campaign. Yes, Bob. Then, people didn't like it and they were writing about it. She took it off. Do you think that's honest to take off a headband just to win a campaign? Then when they won the campaign, she put the headband back on. What do you think that means? I said, Bob, I think it means you have entirely too much time on your hands.
And this was true in '95.
I really do think the press should be applauded for finally shifting focus from Mrs. Clinton's hairstyle to Marsha Clark's. I think you...
Larry Wilmore set was pretty dry.
Welcome to a Negro night here at Washington. Or as Fox News will report, 2 thugs disrupt elegant dinner in D.C.
I'm just kidding. He was very messy.
Ben Carson was also against Harriet Tubman replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. He praised Jackson, saying he was a tremendous president. From the grave, Andrew Jackson replied, "What did that jigaboo say?"
Who else was in the room, Larry?
There are so many rich, powerful people in this room. You know, it's nice to finally match the names to the faces in the Panama Papers. It's very nice, right? You know, it's nice to see them go together.
Yeah, they did evade those taxes. Hasan Minhaj brought it in 2017.
No one wanted to do this, so of course it lands in the hands of an immigrant. It's how it always goes down. No one wanted this gig, no one. Don Rickles died just so you wouldn't ask him to do this gig, all right? R.I.P. to Don Rickles, the only Donald with skin thick enough to take a joke like that. R.I.P. to the legend.
As he mentioned, Trump didn't attend this dinner, which I thought was unsportsmanlike. Republican, Democrat, whatever you are, if you become the president of the United States, I think it's only fair you get these bars. Trump should have done like Clinton and Bush and just brought a soul artist along for misdirection. If I could have everyone just seated, please calm down, be seated, thank you. Thank you, thank you. President Trump will be speaking later on, and we know some of you aren't big fans of him, and that's why we brought Mr. Trap Soul himself, Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller. You never know. You never know when he's gonna... Yep, okay, yeah, he does that. I should start doing this too. Hey chat, I just want to apologize for the word I let slip during my last live stream, but have you heard the last 3 minutes of Her's Tiny Desk performance?
We can go all day, but we don't have all day.
Hasan also brought perspective.
The Russians hacked our elections. The Russians hacked our elections. Meanwhile, everybody in Latin America and the Middle East is like, oh, a foreign government tampered with your elections? What is that like?
This next joke is single-handedly my favorite joke of any of these sets.
Now, a lot of people think Steve Bannon is the reason Donald Trump dog whistles to racists. And that is just not true. Ask Steve Bannon. Is Steve Bannon here? I do not see Steve Bannon. I do not see Steve Bannon. Not see Steve Bannon. Not see Steve Bannon. Not see Steve Bannon.
I've never heard a joke structure like that before, where someone fades from phrase to word through this homophone type loophole. Michelle Wolf did 2018, and she did it all right.
I'm gonna skip a lot of the normal pleasantries. We're at a Hilton, it's not nice. This is on C-SPAN, no one watches that. Trump is president, it's not ideal.
She really emptied the clip.
You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? Because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him. I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you. He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college or ties or Eric.
Michelle shocked them so much, the next year they brought in Ron Chernow. And who is Ron Chernow? I was actually hoping you could tell me.
I confess that I was surprised when I received the invitation to speak here tonight. I mean, I knew they weren't approaching me as an international sex symbol, right? Then Olivier told me that they wanted to try boring at this year's dinner, and I said, oh, I can deliver on that big time. Now you're talking my language. So here I am, your 20-minute sedative for the evening.
He's an author and journalist who honestly had a great talk.
The press is a powerful weapon that must always be fired with reluctance and aimed with precision.
He had humor and even dropped some gems.
I applaud any president who aspires to the Nobel Prize for Peace, but we don't want one in the running for the Nobel Prize for Fiction.
Finally, we have the Cosa Toblerone, Trevor Noah.
I'll be honest. If you didn't come, I totally would have understood. Yeah, because these people have been so hard on you, which I don't get. I really don't. You know, I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
And he concludes beautifully.
If Russian journalists who are losing their livelihoods, as you were talking about, Steve, and their freedom for daring to report on what their own government is doing, if they had the freedom
to write any words, to show any stories, or to ask any questions, if they had basically what you have, would they be using it in the same way that you do?
There you have it. Every comedic set and talk from the White House Correspondents' Dinner from 1993 to 2022. And I did those years in particular because they're the only sets available online. High school was the first time I heard about these dinners, as well as being made aware of the comedian's role during the dinners. And political humor isn't a comedian's primary function, but I do enjoy that the dinners are an opportunity to shake politicians up. It's a moment to say, hey, please get it together. We elected you, but you guys are all over the place. The Justice League shouldn't be the only time we see DC in unison. So please get it together. We're counting on you. The country's hurting. Now back to these choo-choo jokes. And even though I personally enjoy when comedians address the elephant in the room, the comedians can do whatever they want up there. There isn't a more correct way to go about one set. This is a great tradition, and I hope it continues, and I hope future US presidents attend.
Richard Nixon forced himself to go to dinners like this, where he had to hobnob with reporters who'd just written exposés of him.
Relative to what US presidents get away with, getting roasted for 5 out of 20 minutes isn't that bad. Free speech is what we brag about to other countries, so we gotta be about it.
You realize how amazing it is. Like, in America, you have the right to seek the truth and speak the truth, even if it makes people in power uncomfortable, even if it makes your viewers or your readers uncomfortable. Understand how amazing that is? I stood here tonight and I made fun of the President of the United States, and I'm gonna be fine.
If a president said they would close down Guantanamo Bay, we should remind them.
My favorite bit of yours was when you said you'd close the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay. That was a classic. That was hilarious, hilarious. Still going.
And remind them again.
Oh, I just got a note for the president saying that if you want another drink, you should order it now because the bar will be closing down. Of course, he said the same thing about Guantanamo, so you have at least another 8 years.
Because this is a rare thing.
Only in America can a first-generation Indian American Muslim kid get on this stage and make fun of the president. And it's a sign to the rest of the world. It's this amazing tradition that shows the entire world that even the president is not beyond the reach of the First Amendment.
If you're a president whose lips look like a balloon knot every time you say a vowel, you should be able to take it. If you're a comedian that disses the president, you should be able to take the fact that you look like if these two emojis had kids, or that you look like Donnie Thornberry. And if you're a pitiful YouTuber that makes unimpressive observations about political events, you should be honest with yourself and admit that the leaked picture of you with bunny ears is actually you contemplating whether or not you want to be a furry. I don't know how we ended up here. I've been sharing a litter box with my cats, and I think that's not important. Listen, before I sign off, please like and subscribe. Your boy's trying to get monetized, so please help this furry reach 1,000 subscribers, and share this with your friends. And in the spirit of the White House Correspondents' Dinners, I give you this heartfelt goodbye from Chris Rock.
Cracker ass cracker.
No, the other clip.
God bless America and everybody else. The whole world. God bless you. I'm Mace Gilliam, and I'm running for president of the United...
Meow.